This is our exclusive 7x12 single axle carry-on cargo trailer. This is black labeled as our Black Raven trailer. All that means is it's got some specific upgrades, specifically a 48-inch front nose guard, a 3-piece A-frame, tongue, an extended tongue. Got the sand shoe on there. Probably shouldn't even make mention of that, but many other trailers don't even sell that for you. So the frame on this right here, you'll see a few tandem axles with this type of frame structure. Again, 48-inch front nose guard. This trailer has a 48-inch side door with an RV door lock and a bar lock. What's cool about a 48-inch side door is if you have a rear ramp, you can work off the side on this, or if that's not something that you care about, is getting access into it. If you have a motorcycle or ATV that's less than 48 inches wide, you could do a side load here and not have to take stuff off the back. But a 7x12 is a pretty popular trailer for motorcycles. It lets you put two big boys in here without too much stress, and with giving you kind of plenty of room. Pretty light trailer, weighs about 1,300 or 1,400 pounds. With our exclusive brand, you get a 3/4 inch plywood deck. These days, that's pretty rare. It's actually kind of sad. That plywood is rare, but with our Black Raven trailers or carry-on, you get a 3/4 floor, 3/8 on the wall. A lot of manufacturers these days are trying to play a little game of putting plywood down, but they're putting a 5/8 or 10 millimeter just to try to save a few bucks. Ours have a little strip here to help you hang stuff. It's not really necessary, but it kind of makes it easier if you don't want to catch the 16 on center. So these are 16 on center, but you can hang stuff off of here. Of course, you get D-rings on our trailers. The RV lock allows you to open it from the inside. Of course, I put the bar lock already on there. We've got the heavy gauge roof, and we're thinking we're going to probably end up staying with this. We tested out the single one-piece aluminum, and although it's pretty cool, the problem is, to keep it economical, it's pretty light gauge. So this is 0.080, so it's a pretty thick roof. Over here in Hurricane Alley, Cheyenne, Wyoming, we've had a couple of pretty good hailstorms, and not any damage that I was able to see. We've had a few in the past that you would barely see some dimples on here, and in another video I talk about what you can do to protect the roof. Basically, you just coat it with a really thick roof coat on it. Our trailers here also have dual springs. We got a 6'8" interior height. I am about 6'4", and I've got plenty of room in here. This is also a great candidate for stealth camping, or as I heard them call it, tramp camping. Again, 7x12. Another common question, and if you've seen some of our other videos, where are the measurements? Well, it's not quite 7x12 on the inside. That's an exterior measurement. Subtract 2.5 inches here, should give you, or 5 inches, so just subtract about 6 inches. So it should be about 6.5 wide. So a 7x12 is going to be less than 7x12 on the interior, except for on the V here. It will be about 12.5 or 13 feet to the inside of this V. 030 skin. So what does that mean? That's just 0.030. So that's about credit card thickness, maybe a little bit thinner than a credit card. A common thickness is an 0 .022, so these front guards are usually 024, 022. You can kind of see it here, so the actual main thickness of the skin is thicker than that. You can kind of see it here. I want to do a side picture. A lot of questions about screwed skin versus glued skin. Of course, the glued skin looks a little bit better because you got a smooth surface, but it's got to be manufactured perfectly because it's glued on, and everything's just got to be perfect for it to work. So hence it costs a little more. I personally like the screwed one. Get a lot of questions about, well, I've got to wrap it. Well, the easiest way to wrap this thing is, let's say you have a big logo. It goes about this size here. Well, you mark it just like I did. Take all these screws out. Put your logo on, put the screws back in. Looks perfect if you do it that way. If you put the wrap over the screws and then try to cut around it, it doesn't look good. So the easiest way to do it is to take the screws out, put your sticker, your logo, or whatever you got. And by the way, if you're stealth camping, go ahead and put a Bob's Plumbing sticker on the side. You'll never know you're camping inside of it. Side flow vents. No vent on the roof. A lot of guys and gals ask about, well, we want to put a vent on the roof. I don't recommend it. If you have a camper like I do, actually here I can kind of point over to some of these. I guarantee you there's leaks on both of those. Now, granted, those are probably 20 or 30 years old. But even on the newer campers and the newer trailers, they always leak. Of course, you can seal it and make it not leak, but then either you're going to forget putting the top down or it's going to crack. Just trust me on that. Don't put it on. If you want to ventilate, you can do a window. Very easy to do. By the way, since I'm doing this video, just very quickly, order an RV or trailer window, cut a small hole here, and then cut outward. Don't trace it. Start from the middle and work out. There's the other side flow vent. Again, this is a 7x12. We've got lights on the inside. This light is tied into the marker light. It's the brown wire. If you guys know your colors, it'd be this brown wire. So this wire is hot when the lights are on, or the running lights are on. Since this is a 4-way plug, you guys saw the transition ramp on here. Also notice the 3 hinges that have a Zerk fitting. Got a couple cool things on this one. Got the little stands. I don't like those stands, but a lot of customers ask for them. But then again, you know, they are helpful if you are trying to do stuff when you're not hooked up and you're having to disconnect this thing. I prefer putting a jack stand on it because these things are not rated for a lot of weight. My recommendation is keep it hooked to your vehicle when you're loading stuff on and off, but if you're needing to use this thing disconnected, I would get some stationary stands to put underneath there, or the RV jacks. I just kind of clamp them on and jack them up if you need to get this thing off the ground. 2-inch ball. You notice here a lot of room on this front A-frame. You could put a lot of stuff here if you wanted to. AC, generator, or just leave it as is. For the folks that have a truck with a big bumper, this allows you to make a really tight turn without hitting the trailer. Again, pretty uncommon configuration. If you look at all the other manufacturers, this is pretty rare, but it is very common for us with carry-on, and of course now with our Black Raven line, which is just essentially our upgraded package of the 030 scan, 16 on center. No holes on the roof, all LED lights, Dexter axles with the Easy Lube. Easy Lube is just the Zerk fitting. Don't confuse that with a bearing buddy. We do bias ply on here unless you need radials, If you have questions about bias versus radials, just go on to axlemotorsports.com, click on support, then FAQ. Got a small write-up on when you want bias and when you want radial. Again, 7x12 carry-on cargo trailer. Sorry for the long video. Thanks.